We got Trey who wants to talk a little bit. He got something to share. And then I'm going to have Eric talk a little bit something. And then I'm going to go into the final thing I'm going to be talking about is taking control of the sale. I did cut it down a little bit so we have time for lunch. So if we can just power through 45 minutes to an hour left, go ahead and get through lunch and then get ready for John Paramore, okay? But right now I want to call up Trey for you.
Check.
Yeah?
Oh, come on now. Hey, I really didn't have anything planned to like talk about, but with Mark's been talking a lot about like emotional connection, and Fahidi talking about how our brains work and how the emotional connection affects everything. So it made me think about a story, even down to like she talked about neuroplasticity and how the brain works there. So I used to be a personal trainer for 15 years of my life, for a very long time, so I understand how the mind and body works a little bit. But I actually ran a lead for Jake recently, and I told him the people prayed and said, we thanked God that Trey was the one who came and helped us out.
Rather than Jake, right?
Rather than Jake.
Yeah.
But it was the conversation I had with him like before then that kind of led to that. And But I used to be a trainer, and there's this guy, I don't even want to say, I won't say his name because I don't really want to tell his story or tell that story with and disclose his information. But this was like the guy at the gym that was like everybody wanted to be him. He was 210 pounds at 7% body fat, like jacked. Drove a nice car, had a beautiful girlfriend, and then one day he just ended up like stroking out. He had AFib. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like a irregular heartbeat. He was always on blood pressure medication or like blood thinners, which kind of helped regulate that. But then the doctors took him off of it because he was too fit. It was dropping his blood pressure too low, so he ended up having a stroke. And he was in the hospital for months, lost the whole left side of his body. And so lost the whole left side of his body, and then a lot of his friends like put together this charity event to pay for his hospital bills because he didn't have any insurance. So it was the night before we went to this event, and I had a dream. And this is like dead truth. I had a dream about this guy, and he walked into the gym, and he had this big beard and like long hair, which he'd never had. He's always like well put together, like clean cut guy. And he walked into the gym, and he vertical jumped onto the front counter, which is like chest high, right? So the next day I go to this event, and I see him, and he's sitting in a wheelchair. I hadn't seen him in 6 months, and I was pretty close with him. So it's like I walked up to him, and I was like, listen, man, you're going to beat this. You're going to come back. You're going to walk. I had this dream about you yesterday, and it was wild because you had long hair, you had this beard, and you walked in, and you did this, right? And he's like, Trey, sorry. He's like, yesterday, before this event, I just shaved and cut my hair for the first time in 6 months. I hadn't seen him, so I had no idea, So it was like one of those moments. I was like, it's kind of like a God moment for me. It was like I was supposed to have that connection, that conversation with him. So probably 2 to 3 months after that, like he's out and about. He came by the gym just to kind of connect and see some of his people. And, I started having a conversation with him. And I was like, you know what? Let's get out on the floor. Let's try some stuff, right? So Fahidi talked about this neuroplasticity. So it's like as a trainer, I'm not a doctor by any means. I know a little bit about it a little bit. But what I started to do is I'm thinking back okay, when I went to the doctor as a kid, what did they do to stimulate the muscle? They would tap it with the little thing, and it makes your leg kick a little bit. So I sat him down on a machine, and his one leg's doing it, but the other leg I start beating on it, and it starts making his reflex kick. He starts coming in a few days a week with me, and he starts to regain some of that extension. Eventually it's his brain, the opposite side of his brain started triggering what the other side, which was brain dead now because of the stroke, it was able to do it now with the opposite side of the brain. He started regaining. He could walk now. So he's got some mobility back. He can walk with a cane. He can do a couple things with his arm. But, we've talked a lot about this weekend about, like, our why and, like, what makes, I asked these guys yesterday when they were on stage, I was like, what's your why? Like, why do you do what you do, and what makes you special? And 100% for me, it's about that, like, emotional connection with, the customers and being able to connect with people. And, I had like a very special connection with him and that whole scenario there. But it's like, I loved what I did. It's like, I was helping people. I felt like, I was doing, my purpose in life. God's purpose for me was to help this guy, or to help these, and now to help customers, or whatever it is, like, really like dig into that, because it's so important. I feel like if people can feel that, like, hey, this guy's real, this guy really feels what he's doing, and he really cares about me and wants to give me, the best of the best, like, they can feel that. So, whenever they talk about the crown and just, having that, like, realness about you, the customers feel that. And, it's like, don't be too pitchy, don't do that whole sales pitch thing. Just be yourself. The reason that they hired, like, each and every one of you guys is because you're special. It's like they saw something in you, and it's like you were able to connect with them to where they're like, you know what, like, this guy's got it. He's got, like, something that's intangible that's, that makes you really special. So dig into that. I think if you could really dig into that and maximize that part of who you are into what you do, it makes a huge difference. So that's all I got. But I appreciate you guys. So.
Awesome, Trey. Thanks for sharing, man. And it brings something to mind for me is next year when we have a summit, I hope that we have leaders that have emerged from this weekend that are going to be speaking up here just like we are today. And that's the best thing about Monarch, in my opinion, is that we love to grow from within. There's no egos, right? There's no egos in this company because, man, if next year we get somebody else to grow to a point where we want to learn from them, they're going to be up here. They'll say, oh, but suppress everyone in the ground, right? Suppress our employees. We always got to stay here. We always got to stay here. No, my goal is to get somebody that can teach sales way better than me, and we have a lot of people that probably can grow into that position, but it takes time, right? It takes personal growth. It takes effort. Talked about intentional. Be intentional. Guys, everything we talked about here this weekend, if you don't utilize it, if you don't keep thinking about it, that notebook that we got, and you guys are filling up pages and pages, which, by the way, I've been looking around the room the last 2 days, the professionalism, okay? People not on their phones, people being on time, coming to breakfast 15 minutes early, 10, 15 minutes early. It just shows, it's the small things that we notice. And, we start talking about it. I'm like, man, it's like usually at these summits, people are coming in late, they're dragging around, they're not intentional. You can see them on their phones, whatnot. It's so important that we stay intentional and look at these notebooks, okay? We give you notebooks, and I was one that did that, right? I did a ton of notes. I go to these summits. I go to these personal growth. Tony Robbins, we'd go all these things, and then all of a sudden, like 7 months later, I see the notebook that's stored away in my closet. What's that doing for me? Okay, we lose it like this. And then when I started out with sales, that was something that I did keep in mind. I kept in mind every time I watched something, I watched the same video that I've watched 10 years ago over and over. I watched this Jim Rohn. He's going to hate me on the way back because we're going to listen to the same video that we listened on the way up. She's like, why are you going to be doing this? But you hear it once, it's going to go through you, right? And I talked about it when we do our training classes. I want to involve us. We try to involve everybody because that's the best way you're going to learn, okay? Involving you guys. There's a lot of people that want to preach, but if anyone outgrows them, they feel like intimidated, right? Trey, I want you, Trey is one person that went to sales manager this year, right? How awesome is that? Started out as solar, right? I remember when you first started, we talked about it. Started out as solar, went to sales, and now you became a sales manager, right? And that would not have happened without a mentor, okay? And that guy back there was Trey's mentor, and he wanted him to get better than him. Rob wants Trey better than him, I can promise you that. And if he does, now we got Rob going to another location, we can all grow. That's the basis of Monarch, all right? And you're going to have trials and tribulations. This industry is not easy. Believe me, I know. right? But nobody said it was going to be easy. When we interview each and one of you, which I was at most interviews, we don't say, oh, come on, it's going to be flowers and beautiful peaches all the way around, and it's going to be so easy. You're going to come and you're going to make a ton of money, right? You start from the bottom and grow. But what we do promise is if you put time, you put effort into it, it will be worth it, okay? And that is the truth. So before we get started on taking control of the sale, I got Eric Ty from Assistant GM in Hilton Head. He wants to do a quick activity with you, and then we'll get going, and then we're going to go eat some lunch. Get everybody stand up, baby. Get everybody stand up.
I haven't done anything, guys, yet. After. All right. So I'm excited to be here. It's so nice to meet everybody in different branches. I mean, it's nice to be able to get together and be able to, when next time I pick up the phone, I have a face to who I'm talking to. So it's been fantastic so far. I just want to get a little bit, I know we've been sit down for a while, do a quick exercise with you guys. So if you guys don't mind, just stand up for me. Everybody stand up. And what I want you to do when you stand up is go ahead and close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes.
Nobody cheat. Close your eyes.
Brian, don't cheat, please. And what I want you to do is, at this point, keep your eyes closed, and I want you to point north. So what do you think north is? So go ahead and point north. Keep your eyes closed.
Point the direction that you think is north.
All right. Okay, keep it that way. All right, that's great. Awesome. Now keep it that way and then open your eyes.
Stay. Keep it that way.
All right. So we got quite a bit of different direction here, huh? I don't know what north is. I think it's right there, right? The point of this exercise is to me, it's interesting to see where the perception is, right? People think, oh yeah, I know, in my subconscious, I know what north is. It's right there, right? And but I want everybody to be on the same page, right? That's the goal. So if everybody pointing the right direction, then we're going to go and be successful that way. So that was the point of my exercise.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Eric did that in the training the last training course that we had, and I thought it was pretty awesome. And what comes to my mind when he does that is, we all have different lives, we all have different perspectives. Our goal is within Monarch, okay, work-wise, let's all try to get in the same direction, okay? And that's really what our sales force here, this is what this summit's all about, in the same direction. We talk about having butterflies before we go do something. As long as those butterflies are flying in the same direction, you can do anything, okay? So let's get into taking control of the sale. Taking control of the sale came about when I was becoming a teacher, when I graduated education at Coastal Carolina University, and taking control of the sale started when I was a 21-year-old graduate from Coastal Carolina, starting to teach at Myrtle Beach High School, teaching 17, 18-year-olds. So I was 21, 22 years old. How am I going to tell a 17-year-old to go work out? Okay, I was physical education, so usually in high school they only had to take it 1 year. Usually all the students waited till that last year to actually take PE. I'm not sure why, but I had to have control because obviously I look young. At 21, I probably looked like I was 50, and for some reason I aged a lot quicker as time went on, but I looked really young, and I had to figure out a way to how to get control of these 17-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds, for them to respect me, right? So it's the same thing. And the reason why I love sales is life, guys. And we mentioned it yesterday. Everything we do is sales. So we have this mindset of sales, and John hit on a lot of it, and that's why I cut a lot of it out. John hit on a lot of it, that we have this mindset that sales are slimy, right? We mentioned it when we were, the first night we went to dinner, we came back, we were all sitting, and we had, and forgot who it was, but someone started talking about, I don't want to be a slimy sales, or, we don't want to come off as salespeople. Well, I'll tell you right now, and I remember appointment with Cody when I went down, and it was an older lady, she was single, single older lady, and of course she didn't have much trust, right? And she had such a bad image of salespeople. And she said that. She told us right off the bat. She's like, "Oh, you guys are you guys salespeople?" And Cody already had it. I said, "Yeah, we are, man. But if you don't mind me asking, why do you have such a bad taste about salespeople?" And I say that, and I always say that. If somebody says, "Oh, you're a sales guy," I said, "Yeah, I am, but not all salespeople are bad, right? What do you want? What do you do? I like sales because I like to educate people, right? I want to educate homeowners, and we all know. I think we all get in this zone when we start getting into a homeowner's kitchen table that we just get in this zone, right? In this zone, and it just comes out naturally. I think it's so hard to role play. I know we do a lot of role play. Hilton Head does a lot of role play. We do role play in training. We do role play when we do our sales test. It's so hard because we know that you're really going to act a little bit different when you're behind closed doors with that homeowner. So that's why we always take into account the grading scale. I take into account the grading scale is like, you just want to show us how much you know, how much you learned over the 2 weeks. We understand that. And then hopefully you have that connection when you get to that home, right? But I want to talk a little bit about today where no matter what, I think every sale is the same. No matter what, whether you're selling roofs, whether you're selling drinks, whether you're selling your kid to get to bed, it does not matter what it is. Every sale needs to be in our head the same. Now, what do I mean by the same? We need to have the control, okay? We need to have the control that we are considered, and Rob talked about his PEP, and it's awesome because that's how I think you need to treat your employees, right? You have that PEP, and we have that PEP in their step. Mine is PPE, and the only reason why I did that is because of COVID, so I know I remember it. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But ever since my full sales career, and this gives you a little bit of background on, hey, where did you start with your sales? Obviously, education, I talked to you about being a teacher. I then went on after teaching education. I was bartending at the time for my buddy's sushi restaurant, and still in Myrtle Beach today. I ended up taking it over as general manager. So I left the education scene and went into the service industry to be a general manager for 2 sushi bars in Myrtle Beach. Where is the sales in that? Anybody? You got to sell your employees on making the schedule, right? Oh, what do they say? Oh, why I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't get any weekends, right? How am I selling them, right? Okay, talking to them about that. Well, yeah, on the next weekend, you show me that you work good on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then we'll put you on the next weekend, following weekend, okay? What about customers? Okay, customers have issues. Obviously, no one's perfect, right? Customers has issues. You guys are all selling your customers to get the roof, but you're also going to sell them when you have issues, right? You got to sell them to get back on track of moving the full production forward. So when people have issues and the server talks to them, is the customer usually happy? No, because they're not using the tactics to kind of get them calmed down. They have an objection. They have the objection that the sushi's bad or sushi doesn't taste good. They have an objection. Therefore, the manager comes, right? You have to be the manager. Now, how are you going to be perceived right off the bat? And we talk about it a lot of our training, and we talk about it all the time. You're going to be perceived within seconds. Inside sales, bless you guys, right? Bless you guys because you have it harder because all you can do is be over the phone. So you guys, over the phone, 3, 4, 5 seconds you have until that person calling you knows how professional you are, knows how passionate you are, what you do, and if you know what you're talking about, if you're an expert at what you do, right? Us sales guys showing up as PMs, we have the blessing that they're already taken care of at the beginning stage. We have a little bit more time, not much more, in my opinion, okay? I say maybe we have 15, 20 seconds to have when we talk to that person to get a good impression. I see it around the 3 crowns, right? If you haven't met each other, me and Don were talking a little bit, if you haven't met each other, you have a first impression over the text that you see over the sales bees, right? The sales text. And you get this impression of the person texting. Is that always the impression of who they really are? I think this weekend showed that it's not, right? But I love that because it's struggle to solution. So that first impression is so key, and it helps for everybody, right? So know when you're texting and know when you're talking to people. When you're writing an email to that customer you don't really know, remember, they're going to have that impression pretty quickly, right? Right, Blake? We went over that. So customer service was sales for me. Learned very quickly how to relate to customers and how to overturn their objections to get them on an even keel. During the time of being in the sushi restaurant, I had a mentor that said, Mark, I've seen you in the service industry and you talk to people really well, and for some reason that people attract to you and you usually guide them. I have this business, and I was drinking this drink called Vima. It's a energy drink. You all know me, I love energy drinks, but I did stop them recently. It's an energy drink that had a multivitamin in it. I can't wait to have my Coke after this, right? It was an energy drink that had a multivitamin. So I was into health, and I said, man, an energy drink that has a multivitamin is natural. Awesome. So I started drinking it without knowing that it was a business. ended up having a mentor who said, you can make money off that? I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, it's a multi-level marketing, right? Amway, Mary Kay, multi-level marketing where you buy a product, and then if you tell your friends, they buy it, you make money. It's actually genius. And a lot of people say it's a pyramid scheme, and there are pyramid schemes out there, but it really is because multi-level marketing is everywhere. You go watch a good movie, you tell your friend about it, they're going to go watch the movie. Why shouldn't you get credit for that, right? Amazon does it. You have Amazon, and you pass it on to somebody else, and they buy something off Amazon, you actually can get credit for that. I don't know if you knew that, okay? So it's actually a great scheme. But what happened was I was so passionate about this drink that I was selling it automatically. I was just selling it without even knowing I was selling it. And then he came to me and said, you can make money. So just sign up. All you got to do is put your name on the website, and then all of a sudden they can order through you. I ended up being really successful in it, okay? I actually got 2 cars of it. I got a Mercedes and I got a Benz that the company paid for at the time. It took me about 1.5 years to get that, and they actually paid for the cars. It was awesome. But what was the commonalities in all of my sales experience? The commonality was I had an immense belief in the product, okay? I knew that King Kong sushi was the best sushi in Myrtle Beach. I knew it. The reason why I left education was because I know that was a gold mine. I thought I would be there for the rest of my life. Because we had a small little store. It's so good. We have such a good business plan. We're going to spread it everywhere, okay? That's why I left. So I had such an immense belief in the product. I had an immense belief in the culture. Of course, education, what can get better, right? Culture, I wanted to make the culture at King Kong. So I was coming on as general manager. I said, I want to create a culture where everyone's just so happy. Okay, I see servers at these restaurants. They're leaving all the time. I want to keep the same servers. Okay, I want to make them so much money. And that's where it started with me caring a little bit more about the employees rather than me. I was like, I want my employees to make so much money where they're so happy because they stay. Because I know if that happens, we're going to get more restaurants. What happened? We got one in Carolina Forest. And then we grew to Broadway, so we got another location at Broadway. Things were starting to grow because we had such great employees. It was not me. It was we kept our employees to start. So culture, I hear a lot of words that spread with the Monarch culture, okay? And one of them that I don't necessarily like is drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? And I usually hear it, and I hear it from Martin, but I don't think he really knows what it means, so he thinks it's a positive thing. I usually hear it from old employees that quit, didn't have the work ethic to make it, or just didn't get it, right? They just did not get it. Drinking the Kool-Aid came from Jonestown. We talked about it at the last training, and the leader that got everybody to drink Kool-Aid, and they all died, right? See, I think working for a company that pushes things like this summit and personal growth and wanting to get better and holding people accountable is the opposite of Kool-Aid. Okay? I think it's a blessing that we get an owner, a general manager that cares so much about people rather than the business. What else can you get better? You know how much money Martin could be making if he didn't put all the money back into the business? He could probably retire a couple years ago. But what is his mindset? His mindset is the same as my mindset. Is if we get happier employees, if we keep people happy, we're going to spread 50 states. And then everybody can have enough money to retire and not worry about it. Why do you think I came back? It's because we have 2 leaders back there that care more about any of you than they do about themselves. And that's what we need to spread. So when our leaders, our sales managers, our sales guys, recognize that, okay? Because we need to spread it. So the things that we learned this weekend, let's take that into account and let's spread it through the rest of our company. We got a whole ton of employees back at our home locations that are going to see us all fired up and coming back. We need to include them. We need to embrace them. Are we with me? I had a mentor, okay? In Vima, I had a mentor that taught me everything. I don't think I would be so involved in personal growth if it wasn't for him. I thank him every single day to this day, okay? Keep in contact with him. Martin's been my mentor since I found out who the type of person he is. You got to have a mentor. If you don't have a mentor on growing, I recommend highly that you find one, okay? And look around the room because there's plenty of them. Passion, something that I have, and I have a quick story about passion. My quick story was I was going to share yesterday, but we ran out of time, was my first sales presentation at Monarch, okay? I worked for 2 weeks for Monarch. I was in the field for about 3 or 4 months, started off as a superintendent, really, okay? But 2 weeks in, Martin says in the morning, he says, hey, you got a sales presentation today. I want to see you sell something. I want to see you sell our roofing system. I said, Martin, what do you mean? I've been here for 2 weeks. He's like, I know, but we have 2 other employees that started 3 months ago. They're going to do their sales presentation, so why don't you do yours? Classic, right? Awesome. Pushed me to be, I was very uncomfortable, pushed me to grow, right? So I watched the 2 presentations. They went before me. iPad, very monologue, okay. Did okay, but talked about all the details that we talked about. 600% stronger, 53% thicker on the Ultra. All these details, it's like, man, I'm never going to be able to say that. All I have is two weeks of experience. I've been on the roof, really, getting my hands dirty, right? Learning the product, learning the production, which thank God I did, right? So I went up there, and I just talked about what I knew. I talked about stories. I talked about the emotion that I had, but I said it in a way of tonality with passion, right? I'll never forget where we were. We were in the old solar office at the 544, walked in there, and it was literally, if you know our old office, it was like a 10 by 10 square with 4 people smashed into it, okay? I thought I bombed the presentation, right? All I talked about was stories about, man, I was up on this roof acting like I knew what hail was because of the houses that we did were hail on the production. Really, I don't remember to the day that I really talked about, but I know I had passion. I know I talked about it like I really meant it. We went about 15 minutes later, I passed by Martin's office and said, man, I know I didn't really do too well, right? I'm sorry, it's just only been 2 weeks. Am I going to have another chance to do it? He's like, Mark, are you kidding me? He's like, I'm in the process right now to figure out how I can move you closer to sales now, right? I know we had a training set up for you. Why? What do you mean? He's like, because you said it does not matter what you said. You said it with so much passion and enthusiasm that I was sold it did not matter what you said. That moment I said, wow, is that what I've been doing for the last course of 10 years of my sales experience? Is that why people have been following me? Is that why people are usually, easier to sell because of that? And I think it is, okay? So you gotta have passion, no matter what. And I'm not talking about passion and enthusiasm. Rob's not talking about enthusiasm where we're running and screaming, oh my God, yeah, we got tiger paw, blah, blah. No, it's that bottled enthusiasm, right? It's that bottled enthusiasm that when you talk, that person says, I want that shit. I want that stuff. I gotta work with him. I want that guy to work with me. Right? And I think the best salespeople that we have in this company have that, right? And then I never stopped learning, okay? We talked about that. You have to continue learning. After this summit, you have to continue learning. Personal growth will end really quickly. You use it or you lose it. Promise you that, right? So what is sales to you? I want you guys to take 1 minute to write down in your notepads, what is sales to you? Be honest. I don't want to hear any cliche answers. I want what it really means to you. I'm going to call on a few of you guys and see what you guys got to say. Paulette, what about you, sweetie?
Service.
Adam?
Relationship building.
Ashley? Honest answer, I love it. Cody? Last one, Eric.
Taking care of people.
Our answers changed a lot from that first day, haven't they? That first day when John asked you what sales was, we had that whole left side of the list, right? Shows that we're being intentional, we're changing some things. What's sales to me? I think sales is influential communication, okay? Because influential communication happens all the way around. Does not matter who you are. You don't even have to be selling a product, right? We talk a lot about product. Relationship building is killer, but we talk about product. Sales is influential communication because you're going to need it throughout your whole life. That's why I love sales so much, because it makes you a better person. You're constantly be able to grow. What other industry, what other thing can you do in your life that will help you personally grow while you do your job? Okay, I think we get so in tune of our day-to-day operations of our job rather than say, you know what, if I get better at my job and as a person, it's automatically going to exponentially grow, right? We're taking low certainty, right? We're taking low certainty, high certainty. When we try to get my son to bed, he has a low certainty of wanting to go to bed, right? We have to figure out how to get to the high certainty, right? When we go to a prospect's home, they have a low certainty on what they want to do, who they want to use, what type of products. We need to take them to the high certainty. And then transfer of belief. Do we all believe in our product? Yes. Do we all believe in our product? Yes. And then our customers, our prospects need to know that. okay? And how can they do? And like I said, life is a series of situations, and the answer is no if you don't ask. So when I hear some people, and a few in this room, say, well, I'm not a salesperson, be proud of it. Yes, I am a salesperson, absolutely. And why I'm a salesperson is because I listen, I educate, I service people, I build relationships, I make money, because we all have to make money in this industry, right? In this world, we got to make money. I think it's the elephant in the room. This elephant's already been over here all fucking weekend, right? Got to make money, and it's okay. Excuse my language, sorry, Fahidi. Expert product knowledge. Yes, I'm an expert, right? And we're going to get to that. And then taking care. We're taking care of people. So are we salespeople? Yes, we are salespeople, and don't apologize for that, okay? Do not apologize for success, and do not apologize for what you do, and it's okay. Every sale is the same. What do I mean by that? Because any key of influence is obtaining control, obtaining control of the sale or interaction. I got to be in control. I know I bring up my son a lot, but it's something passionate I'm about. I got to have control of him if I want to get him to bed. I got to have control of him if I want him to eat vegetables rather than pizza every night, right? I got to have control of my prospects if I want them to buy our GAF product, our roofing system, right? We got to have control. And by control, do I mean talk? Sometimes I don't even have to talk to my son to take control going to bed. Sometimes I just, crazy, I love being a small guy, because I pop in his crib, say, hey, let's go to bed. It's cool, right? I'm all scrunched up there, right? It's cool. I don't even say much. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I want to come now. Boom, right? Sales. I can't get my pitch out. I hear a lot of objections. The objections I hear, and we talked about objections yesterday. My goal is that we limit the objections that we hear by taking control of the sale, okay? We're going to still get them. You get an objection, be like, oh my God, I failed. No, we're still going to get them. It's okay, and I understand that. But I hear, I can't get my pitch out. They keep interrupting me. They just kept giving me objections, right? They didn't let me talk. You didn't have control, right? You didn't have control. All he wanted to talk about was price discount. Didn't have control. Didn't have control of that sale. When perceived in the proper way, your objections will be limited, okay? 5 seconds to establish what? Control, okay? How do we gain control? Through communication, right? I just said that it's not the words that we talk about, okay? Communication is listed of one thing, of three things, I'm sorry. Okay, communication. You said words, right? Words, tonality, and what? Body language. Posture is body language, absolutely. Body language, okay? These three things. So when we talk about take control, I do not mean that we need to talk. Hey, I'm the best person at this job. I promise you I have the best products. I'm the best service. We have production manager, production coordinator. What words can you say in 5 to 10 seconds that makes you be perceived as professional? Okay? Got to be perceived as professional. Rob did it clearly with a picture of Trey. Got to be perceived as a professional. Okay? No doubt about it, but that's by the looks. Can you make an impression by somebody's looks within 1 second? Yep, absolutely, right? Okay? Got to be professional no matter what. What's the next one? Training class? Passionate. Good job, Sarah. Love it. Got to be passionate. Got to be enthusiastic. Again, I do not mean about rah, 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 rah. I mean passionate about what you do so that homeowner knows, I got the right person here, just by his tonality, by his body language. Okay? Doesn't even have to say a word, really. And we talked about words, and we're going to admit it. Words matter, okay? I'm not going to say that you can say the stupid stuff and get by with it, okay? But it's not a big part of it. What's E? Expert. Got to be an expert. Got to be an expert. Are you expert after 2 weeks of training course with me? Not yet. Okay, you're on your way, I hope. It's my hope. You're on your way. That's why I say every training class, it does not mean anything. Stop swearing. Does not mean anything if you leave after 2 weeks and say, oh, I know everything, I'm good. Just got to go to the homeowner's home, right? Just got to go to the homeowner's home and just show up and do it. No. Okay, I expect and I hope for you, and it's 20-30% of people will, that you continue on educating yourself, asking us. We have brands here, guys. You have a ton of people that you make one call. I love it. I absolutely love it when a trainee leaves our course after 2 weeks and calls me like every single day after. I'm going to give credit to Blake. Because Blake calls me so damn much, and it makes me so happy because I know he wants it. And I know that he knows that if he's not going to know all the answers yet, but if he knows he contacts me and I give him answers, he's going to keep learning, right? I love it. Brian texts me a lot. Love it, okay? If I don't hear from the person after our training course, I start to think. I hope they're going to their general manager, and that's okay because we have a hell of a support staff. But I hope that they're continuing education. I hope that they are learning, right? I worked with Lizzie so much. When she left the training course. After the next month, she would include me in the contracts that we signed, and it was so awesome because I wanted to show her there's nothing like the real thing, right? Nothing like seeing a real contract signing. Nothing like talking on the phone or Zooming. We Zoomed with a customer, a couple weeks after you left? We signed the deal, right? And it wasn't me. It really wasn't. I helped, I hope, right? But it was her first impression that she gave them that said, you know what, let me give her a chance. And then we had support. You guys aren't going to be able to do this alone. We don't expect you to. We don't set you on an island. Martin calls it an island all the time. I don't want anybody on an island. I've been on an island before. Okay? We don't want that. Where you got support staff here that helps and wants to push you to be better than all of us. Okay? We talked about it. You got 5 seconds to establish these 3 things. And I think if you have these 3 things, you will get control of that sale. So objections will start turning into questions. Oh, I don't know if I have that much money, rather than, oh, your price is too high. Right? What's the difference? Oh, I don't know if I have that much money, Mark. What do I do? Let you guide. Expert. We are experts. Say it, experts. Okay, we are experts, and if you're an expert, that prospect will let you guide the sale. Okay, we listen to experts. Do you go to the doctor's office and say, I don't know, doc, you sure I need surgery on my ACL? I don't know. I mean, did you read that x-ray correctly? No, right? Because we just automatically know that he knows what he's doing, right? He has control of us. We're giving him everything that control, okay? When you want to get a haircut, you got a wedding come up, girls. You want to get your hair cut before a nice wedding. Who are you going to go to? Somebody that just graduated barber school or somebody that's been doing it for 20 years? 20 years? Because it's an expert, right? You want to go to an expert. We need to be perceived as experts. If we are perceived by experts, we're not going to have objections, and we're going to let people guide. Let us guide them, okay? Eric, did we have objections the other day? At Legends? In Legends, we had objections? No. Legends, we had nothing, right? Let me and Eric just guide that sale. Communication, okay? We talked about it. Subconscious and conscious. Tonality, body language, and words. 3 parts of communication. Rob said it the other day, and there's a million studies on it, but they're all about the same. Let's just, for easiness, 10% words, 45% tonality, 45% body language. I'm going to call a couple people up here. Paulette, I want you to come up here, please. Jake. Trip. You guys don't mind standing in the line here. You can hear a pin drop. Why is it so quiet, guys? Woo! All right, you guys are going to follow me, right? Do everything that I do, all right? And say. Hands out. So give 6 feet distance. We had COVID, okay? 90-degree angle. Make a circle. Turn it to the side. Put it on your chin. Your chin, Trip. Your chin, Jake. You got it. Guys, it's not the words that we say. People follow body language, and they follow how you act, how you compose yourself, and the tonality that you say. If I got up here and it was very monotone, guys, this is going to be a great sales exercise. It's going to be awesome, and I hope you guys get a lot out of it, and we're going to leave here. I'm going to have some lunch, and it's going to be great, right? Okay? Tonality we do automatically. It comes natural to all of us. But when you use it on purpose, it becomes incredibly powerful in sales, okay? Martin did it last night on accident. Didn't mean to do it, okay? And that's why he says he's not a sales guy. But he automatically does it to get that genuineness. People feel comfortable around him because of his tonality and empathy. And he has empathetic tonality, right? He feels like he actually cares, and that's where care comes from, right? And when in control, your prospects will respect, be honest, open up about their pains. How hard is it to get pains out of some prospects, right? Sometimes it's so damn hard. They want to keep it closed, right? A, they don't want to tell you that they don't have enough money, or B, they don't want to tell you that they have 4 other quotes back there, right? They want to open up. They let you solve their pains. They let you guide the sale, okay? The best companies don't win through the quality of their products, but through the quality of insight they deliver, okay? Guys, all the roofs that you sell, I don't think is because they're GAF. GAF's great. They're awesome, right? We got great products. We got great warranties. But I have firm belief that the sales force that we have is the reason why we sell so much, okay? It's you guys. They buy you. They're not just going to buy GAF because there's so many other people they could buy GAF from. Let's remember that. So how? How are we taking control without blurting out a million words at once, because that's not going to work? We're asking intelligent questions. We talked about it all weekend. It's a lot of repetition, I understand, but if we can jam it down your heads, maybe that'll keep happening, right, and keep coming in. Asking intelligent questions, gathering information, letting the prospect do all the talking. So when we're taking control, do I mean we're doing all the talking? Absolutely not. They're talking more than you. Should happen. If you do a dialogue with a prospect and a salesperson and just had somebody typing it like they do in court, who should be doing the most talking? Customer, okay? I have a feeling a lot of times it's the opposite, okay? We can't regurgitate, guys. We got to figure out. Cody's a quiet guy, okay? Cody's a very quiet guy, but it proves the point that you don't have to talk so much in order to sell a lot, okay? You let the customer do the talking, let them solve the pains. Active listening is huge. If you ever notice when you're talking to me, and I do it just automatically ingrained in my head, and I also do it as a respect factor, because you should respect who someone's talking to you, I'm constantly nodding and constantly saying, oh my God, yeah, I got you, yeah, for sure, right? Active listening is huge in my opinion. I think it's so important that we know that if somebody's talking to you, you're engaged. You know, you're not on your phone, you know, and sometimes people do it unconsciously, right? They're just thinking and looking around, and I can tell all the time. I caught myself at the gym the other day. I was talking to this guy, and I don't really like to talk at the gym. I have my earbuds in. I'm like, he's still talking to me. But I still found myself like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And the problem was he kept talking and talking because he knew that I was engaged. Was I really engaged? Not really, because I really just wanted to get back to working out. But I caught myself, and I find myself in these situations all the time. I said, man, I got to get back to that training class and let them know that. Okay? Get in a habit of letting the other person know that you're actively listening. Okay? And you don't say, hey, sir, I'm actively listening to you right now. Right? No, it's about empathy. It's like nodding your head, right? Get eye contact. It's not eye contact where you're just constantly staring. Eye contact, right? Make sure you're knowing. You're looking down a little bit and eye contact, right? Very simple. Confidence, not arrogance. It's huge, okay? You're a confident guy. You're a confident girl. Nothing wrong with that, okay? Arrogance is different than confident. We need to be confident. Confident and caring. Huge. Throughout the sales process, when you have control, you're always in rapport. You hear it all the time. We heard it all weekend. You must be in rapport. If you get in rapport at the step 1 of sales, which is breaking the ice, automatically you get in rapport, you're good with the homeowner. Do you think that rapport stays all the way until the end? No, okay? You must stay in rapport throughout the whole sales interaction. And most people get in their head, oh, I broke the ice, awesome. I asked discovery questions, I am in. Hey, it doesn't matter what I say now. Okay, they're going to go ahead and close, and they just give up on it. You have to be in rapport from the start all the way to the finish. I find myself, after signing a contract, staying at the homeowner's home for a little bit longer to talk to them, because I feel like if I leave right away, I feel like I'm a slimy sales guy because I took the contract and left. I always spend more time after the contract and just staying in rapport with them, because I want them to know when I leave that they're fully comfortable. There's nothing worse than leaving a contract thinking, man, I hope that homeowner really wants to go with us. Man, I hope that homeowner really cares, right? And you guys may not have that feeling. I hope you do, but you should have that feeling. When you leave, you should be as confident that that homeowner is as confident as you that you took care of them. Okay, you're good. And that's why I find myself writing an email or sending a text after I leave. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. I promise you, from the start all the way to the finish of production, we're going to take care of you. Okay, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity of signing a contract today with me, and if you need anything at all, please let me know. How often when you sign a contract do you contact the person that you just signed? Or do you think, I signed the contract, I'm good, I'm off, let's go. No, spend a little time after that contract showing them that you care even after you got their money, okay? Because you got that 30% check, your job is done, right? No, okay? Spend a little time after. Once it gets to the production stage, then let them be the experts. Then let them take over. It was my main goal in Monarch the whole time that the sales guys get the contract, sign it, keep them comfortable for a while until production gets them, and then when production gets them, now the sales guys can move on. Because I'm going to get to something in a minute about MMA, because I think we all need to be on the same page about this. Sales team, we have the machine, right? Our sales team is designed to sign a contract, to get customer acquisition is our main goal for you guys, right? After that, let production take over, and that's fully fine. At some point, and at one point in Monarch, sales guys did the sell job and then the superintendent job because we just weren't big enough to have both sides. Okay, so when we talk about silver spoons, you ever hear silver spoons in this? Silver spoons is because when Martin started, it was a lot harder than what we have now. But it's funny how we have in our mind, and John talked about a little bit about that anchor figure, right? $20,000, that anchor figure. We have an anchor figure right now of how the job is, right? And it's so funny if one little thing goes wrong, we're like, oh my God, I gotta go do that? I gotta drop samples off? Man, geez, you know how many samples I've dropped off? You know how many job sites I went to be as a superintendent after I sold the job? Guys, we have a process that is getting better and better. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. And we are striving to get to that point, right? And your feedback all the time helps us. Have we changed a lot of things at Myrtle Beach? Absolutely. That guy right there. Myrtle Beach has changed a lot with our sales force because it's a GM. You have a GM that listens, that takes into account his employees to make things better, okay? And it's going to continue to do that way. And we're not perfect, but we're going to get that way. Tonality, there's about 10 tones of influence. Certainty, empathetic. What do I mean about? Talking about price. Hey, John, that's a reasonable objection. I can understand that you don't have that much money, right? Or, yeah, John, I mean, that's reasonable and all. I mean, yeah, you don't got money, but I mean, what the heck? Okay? Again, two sides of a high spectrum. But make sure we know we have the tone. We're talking about empathy tone. I think empathetic tones is the biggest tone. Understanding, when used on purpose, very, very, very powerful, okay? Tonality alone will give you control of the conversation. I can promise you that. Body language killer, we talked about eyes. We talked about active listening, functional hand gestures, right? Body language can also be very distracting, okay? So, we're talking, we're snapping, or we're doing all these things that are taking their mind subconsciously away from the sale. All these things, people aren't going to say, yeah, I'm signing with you, Trey. I'm going to sign this contract because you have awesome tonality. I'm signing with you, Don, because your body language is so awesome. Not going to happen. Does not happen. They're getting all this subconsciously, like Fahid was talking about, right? They're getting all this without knowing it, but it's automatically giving you control, right? That's the power in it. That's the power in it. Smile, contagious, we talked about it. Posture, stand, head tilt. Tilting head is something that, and again, I tried to think of body language that I've done, and active listening, I always try to turn my head, and it just automatically knows, man, you really care. You really care what I'm talking about. Shifting yourself lower. Why do we sign contracts at the kitchen table? I don't know if you guys have a chair, but what's that? Yeah, because automatically when you shift yourself lower, you're going to give them a little bit more control, okay? So when you're sitting at a kitchen table, try to be the first one to sit. Small little detail. Crazy. I know I'm nuts, right? Small little details. But these are the differentiators you talked about. Trey, you said it yesterday. You said, what's your differentiator? And I didn't want to go too much because I know I'm going to get a lot today. The differentiator are all these small little things that we're talking about today that will set you guys a million miles apart than any of the competition. Okay? Did I have an opportunity to sell $5 million sales? By the way, $5 million is not going to be bring up after this. Okay? Done with it. Zero. Don't want to hear it again. You back there. All right? And it is powerful, though. Okay? Because I did have an opportunity, but I maximized my opportunity with all these small little details and then figured out why the differentiator was. What were the differentiators? Why did they go with me when I'm $1,000 higher than MD? Okay, why did they go with me when I wasn't going to cover their deductible rather than United? It's the easiest objection to overcome. And I had questions about it. And you know what? I had a mentor, Rob, when I first came back and said, you know what, Mark, we don't need to cover deductibles. Okay, we don't. I know we did it in the past, but we don't need to do that. I said, oh, really? Okay. And he sold me on it. And now I'm like, yeah, of course, right? Why would we have to? Man, if you have control of the sale, and you talk about John, hey, we're not going to break the law. Geez, sometimes, guys, we got to walk away. And having that control sometimes is backing off and walking away, and that gives you even more control. You know, I've had prospects come back to me and say, whoa, where are you going? I said, I'm sorry, man. Hey, if you want to go ahead, I can't sleep at night if I know that I committed a misdemeanor about, you know, that the commission is not meaning much for me, you know? And if they are going to cover your deductible, what other things do you think they're going to do to you? You know, they're talking about the products that they're going to do. They have the best production. If they're willing to break the law, what are they going to do on top of your roof when you're not watching? Who knows? Body language with your hands, okay? We talked about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had killer body language, okay? All the things, weird things that he did, but America loved him, right? We talk about palms up. We're pointing to you. You know, when we're talking about our customers, are we pointing to them? Or are we open hands, right? Obama was killer about this. You know, Brian is big in politics. Obama always had that open hand gestures, right? Like, I want to give you a hug. Come with me. Yes, we can, right? Yes, we can. Everyone just felt so attracted to him. It was mostly because of body language. Presidents, if you study presidents, they are top-notch. And I'm always studying, guys. By no means am I a complete expert at all this. But by no means does a day go by that I don't learn more, okay? We're not up here. This panel that you saw last night are up here telling that we have it all figured out, that we have everything figured out. We're perfect. Absolutely not. But what we will do is that every single day we're going to get better. Do you? So when we leave this summit, think of yourself. Are you every single day getting better at what you do or whatever you want to do? Okay? Because I highly recommend it. My final thoughts, and we're going to get lunch. 12, 14, 15 minutes late. Final thoughts. There's major time in sales, and then there's minor time in sales. Okay, what's the minor time? The minor time is filling out your domination book. The minor time is emailing clients. The minor time is talking to your inside sales about the day before. The minor time is saying that you maybe get that prospect. What's the major time? Face to face. That's the time. So when you say that you're busy, what are you busy doing? Okay, how many people are you talking with? Because the things that you guys do with sales can only happen if you're face to face. Okay? Get in front of as many people as possible. I don't care if it's a neighbor that you know that is just walking by. If you get face to face, the more faces that you see, the more sales that you will have. I can promise you that. Okay? But there's so often times where we let people just walk away with their dog. We just left the prospects home, people are walking away with their dogs. You just did a hail inspection. I should go talk to him. Should I go talk to him? Ugh, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Amanda, when you're nervous, what does that mean? Could have said a better tone. No. You're only thinking about yourself. When you're nervous, you're thinking about yourself. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to talk to that person, right, with the dog. But what is it also? So easy not to do. All the little things that we talk about are so easy to do, but the problem is they're so easy not to do. Okay? I implore all of you to start taking the little things and just doing them. Don't even think about it. Take the things that are in your subconscious mind and bring them conscious, okay? And do it because you're going to feel so much better when you go to bed at night. And when you start continually doing it, it becomes more and more of a habit, and now it's going to be in your conscious mind. MMA. What's MMA? You guys are Salesforce. Customer acquisition, everything you should be doing from day to night during work, you should be doing something that leads towards customer acquisition, money-making activities, okay? Dropping off samples were not money-making activities with a sales force. We have superintendents that can do that, okay? Or you can do that after hours if it's needed. I'm not talking that we don't need to help out our team. That's not what we talk about. Rob says it in Crown Training all the time. We need to do our job. Bill Belichick, why were the Patriots so good all this time? Every single person did their job. The offensive line worried about their offensive line. They didn't worry about the defense. What if the defense said, oh, well, geez, I think we should do this on the offensive line? What did Bill Belichick do probably? Cut them, okay? We see all the time how many awesome players that Bill Belichick cut because they didn't do their job. They were just more worried about something else, okay? Crumbs, the last and final thing. I got this from Matthew McConaughey, and it's stuck with me forever, and it's not just about sales, it's about life. Crumbs are the decisions you make today that will affect you in the future. Dropping a piece of paper on the road and not picking it up. if I do that, I go to bed at night thinking, Jesus, I littered, and I could have just picked it up. How often the times can you just drop something and you're like, oh, well, that's all right, it's whatever, all right? How often is it times where you don't call that prospect when you probably should to follow up? It's called a crumb. When crumbs start to add up, it gets very messy, and usually it leads to failure. We've had many salespeople in this organization that had so many crumbs build up, it got overwhelming for them, because once they start adding up, you can't go back and clean them up usually, okay? They get so built up where it just ends up, you see the salesperson just quit, or you see the employee just quit. Make right decisions in your life, okay? Get rid of those crumbs, and you guys will live and hopefully work in a happy environment, okay? Thank you, guys. Let's get some lunch.